And we begin with matters politics, where the Jubilee administration came under fire again today when a section of court luminaries accused the current regime of tribalism and corruption. Former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka and his team were at Nguluni in Matungulu constituency, where they joined the Kenya Red Cross Society to assist families affected by heavy rains. The leaders claimed that CORD would wrestle for power from Jubilee in the next election because of the Jubilee's failure to handle corruption.
Hadi mgeni huko kwetu apatiane.
Wasitaje juu ya ufisadi tena, kwa sababu wao wenyewe wameonyesha wafisadi, hawajui namna ya kupigana na ufisadi, kwa sababu ufisadi unawaandama. List aliyoitoa kwa bunge Mheshimiwa President ya watu 175. Kwa hivyo hawana moral authority to discuss anymore and to say they have any ability or any intention whatsoever to fight against corruption in this country.
IEBC tunataka ifutulie mbali, kwa sababu hatuwezi kubali iendelee kusimamia hiyo halmashauri, kwa sababu ni wezi, waliiba kura, na wakati huu hatuwezi kubali wakamba waibe kura.
Serikali ya Jubilee ichukue mzigo ile ilipeana ya wale ni wafisadi, na irudie hii investigation imefanywa na IEBC ili tujue ni nani ambaye aliiba mali ya umma.
And still on matters corruption, the Ministry of Information and Communication Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i has today cautioned the ministry's parastatal heads to stay off corruption, as he is not prepared to be jailed on their behalf. Matiang'i instead urged the agency bosses to concentrate on service delivery as the #1 agenda and steer off corruption drama by seriously taking their responsibilities and being accountable. He observed that corruption deviates attention from their goals, with parastatal bodies instead of shuffling papers under the table for own selfish interests, a thing he asserted he'll not be party to.
I'm grateful, so far so good. And all of you colleagues who sit everywhere in agencies in the ministry, including those of you who sit in MTC, you understand very well, and I've said before, I will not go to jail on your behalf. We must do the right thing at all times. The law is very clear on what we need to do. Let's not play games with the responsibilities that we have been given. The plan we have is very, very clear, and we can achieve all these objectives. We are on course across the board to achieve the objectives that we have set out, both in MTP and in the strategic plan. I respect your rights. I'm a public officer and I have to say this. I respect your right to go to court. And I also understand my responsibility as a public officer to be accountable to you. But please, let us all think about the country. Let's look at the big picture. Think about our country.
Well, elsewhere, Lamu West Member of Parliament Julius Ndegwa was today arraigned in court in Mombasa to answer to charges of theft of constituency development funds. Ndegwa is accused of irregularly withdrawing 1.6 million shillings from the CDF account, which was meant for constructing a cattle dip. The EACC accused him, the CDF account manager Michael Kamau, and the project management committee of illegally withdrawing the money from the accounts at a KCB bank in Lamu in 2013. His file are among those that President Uhuru Kenyatta asked the EACC to work on when he tabled the corruption dossier in Parliament on March the 26th.
If possible, if not,
Also, into some good news for Elgeyo Marakwet residents, a 2 billion shilling water project has been launched in the area to alleviate the perennial water shortage. The project is also set to act as an incentive to investors wishing to set up business in the region. The water project, situated at Sabor Forest, is funded through a financial agreement between the Belgium and Kenyan government together with Elgeyo Marakwet administration. It will benefit over 64,000 residents in Iten, Tambach and other towns. The Belgian government will foot 35% of the total cost, while the remainder will be serviced in a form of soft loan.
The gift element is about 35% of the whole amount of the project, and the whole amount of the project is about 16 million euros.
Whole project has been designed for about 64,000 people. That means that by the time we attain that population, it will be around about 2033 there. So it's a long-term project, and I'm sure by that time we'll have looked for other sources to supplement this. But I can comfortably say that for the next 20 years, this water will be sufficient for Iten and Tambach.
Let us now cross borders a bit, and Eritrea's government has accused the United Nations of launching political propaganda against the country's social and economic progress. This follows the UN release of a shocking report accusing Eritrea of human rights violation on a scale never witnessed before. Asha Mwilu now reports.
One of Africa's youngest nations is now at the center of an international controversy concerning its human rights policy. After conducting a year-long investigation, the United Nations released its report on Eritrea, detailing the gross human rights violations. The UN claimed the scale of the violations were unprecedented.
The Commission found that systematic, widespread, and gross human rights violations have been and are being committed with impunity in Eritrea under the authority of the government.
But these accusations have not sat well with the Eritrean government. A statement from Asmara turned the UN's report as false, adding that it's a mere escalation of political campaigns to derail the country's economic, political, and social progress, especially in human rights reforms. The UN claimed that the violations by the Eritrean government may amount to crimes against humanity, claiming that the state had issued a shoot-to-kill order at its borders. But Eritrea, which got its independence in 1993, sees this report as a form of neocolonialism, even stating in the statement that the country was denied independence from colonialists because of perceived interests from the USA. Eritreans are said to account for the second largest group of immigrants crossing the Mediterranean every day into Europe in search of greener pastures. The UN is now advising European countries not to send the Eritrean immigrants back home because of human rights abuses. Every month, 5,000 Eritreans are said to flee the country. But Asmara rubbishes all these accusations as vile slander, and the Eritrean government says it will not stop its resolve to build a dignified and prosperous nation. Asha Mwilu, KTN, Nairobi.
Let us now revisit that story that has Kenyans talking on the rights of men. An officer commanding a police division in Nyeri has cautioned men to be very alert, especially when near angry women in Nyeri. This warning came after yet another woman allegedly chopped off her husband's private parts. The new victim has joined last week's victim at the Nyeri hospital, where doctors are now struggling to retouch the dismembered organs.
Even as Nyeri residents were still trying to digest last weekend's case of a man's privates being chopped off allegedly by the wife, they again woke up to news that yet another man had suffered a similar fate.
Wakati members of the public walisikia nduru wa nyumba ya mzee mmoja kucheck akapata kama there was a family dispute.
It is believed that the two quarreled over money. Matters came to a head when the said woman grabbed a kitchen knife and attacked her man, as explained by the Nyeri OSPD Charles Rotich.
Mama alikamata kisu akatunga mkono, left hand side ya mkono, alafu private part. Therefore hiyo mama ameshikwa, alafu watapia anytime before court kama investigation imeisha.
The 25-year-old man, an employee of a popular supermarket in Nyeri town, was immediately rushed to the Nyeri County Referral Hospital. The wife was arrested and held at the Nyeri police station. Onlookers expressed their distaste at the recent turn of gender-related violence meted on men, specifically in Nyeri County.
Ni nani atawaoa wasichana wa Nyeri? Mimi naona pengine ni roho baya iko hapa. Ya kuharibu wanaume. Si wote wabaya, nafikiri ni roho baya.
Kwa kuwa watu wengi wameingia katika uabudu wa shetani bila hata mwenzake kujua.
Sasa keti chini muongee kama familia, msolve hiyo case, because going to this extent unaweza pata kwamba kuna mashida ya nyumba, unapata kwamba hata financially wataenda chini kwa sababu sasa wataenda gharama ya hospitali.
Vijana wamepotea tu kwa pombe, ni mapombe haramu. Sasa wanakataa kufanya ile mambo ya kinyumbani kama wanaume. Naona sasa hii bibi yake ndio anafanya kila kitu na anategemewa na familia. Sasa unaona mama akienda kazi pahali anaenda anaitishwa pesa na bwana.
Owing to the recent happenings, the OSPD had this message for the men in Nyeri.
Therefore, wanaume wakae chonjo.
The man underwent reattachment surgery and is recuperating at the Nyeri County Referral Hospital. Carol Derry, KTN, Nyeri.
Residents of Baraka Estate in Embakasi East constituency this morning held demonstrations citing poor state of roads in the area. The residents who burnt their tires and blocked sections of Baraka Soweto Road that connects Embakasi to Kayole Estate said unless their grievances are met, they will not take the matter lying down. Timothy Otieno with the story.
Residents of Baraka Estate in Kasarani are not a happy lot, and this is why. Bad roads and poor drainage systems are making the roads impassable, and the people here are demanding changes.
Hii barabara kukinyesha hata huko Kisumu hii maji vile mnaonanga vile natapakaanga vile ilikuwa hapa Nairobi, hapa Mombasa, huko Kisumu hata iwezi fikia yenye inakuanga hapa.
Tuingie mara hapa kwa sababu gari zetu mingi zimeumia chini asipiti barabara hii.
But it's not only the residents that are affected. Boda operators here say the poor state of the roads is now affecting the operations and they're incurring huge losses.
Wiki na nawa kampuni kufanywa service kwa sababu barabara ni mbaya. Pia hata mgongo naumia sana bana. Kurara ni shida.
They say the Baraka Soweto Road has been in this state for months, and their plea to the Kenyan Urban Roads Authority has fallen on deaf ears.
We've been trying to deal with the concerned authorities, but apparently we've not been heard. It's been quite inconveniencing for us to even drive to work.
We just need this road to be sorted out as we have been promised.
But the authorities director John Cheboy, through a phone interview with KTN, says the matter will be sorted this week. But the residents here don't believe it. They burnt tires and blocked the roads, saying no action has been taken, and promised to paralyze traffic unless they were heard. It took the intervention of the police to finally clear traffic along the busy stretch of road. It's the anger and wrath of our people who say the state of the roads here cannot be contained any further, and that something needs to be done sooner rather than later. Timothy Otieno, KTN, Nairobi.
Well, and that story brings us to a close this afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. Of course, we shall have more updates, including that very controversial story from Nyeri. My name is Ian Wafula. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.